Hi guys, so I thought I would go through a couple of the homework assignment problems off of 8.1 just to review like we would normally do at the beginning of every period. So I chose just a couple of problems that I feel over, I don't know, the past years that it's usually a common question, or it may pertain to a question that maybe we didn't do an exact example like, and so I just chose a couple of them, and I thought number 12 would be a good one to go through. So let's read through the problem. So here's your triangle. It says find the missing side, round to the nearest tenth, and we want to find side AB. So if I'm looking at the triangle here, I'll just call that X for now. You're told that side AC is 23, so AC right here would be 23, and you're also told that angle B is 34, and we want to find, like I said, AB. So the first thing you're going to do is figure out, am I going to use sine, cosine, and tangent? So remember, you go to your angle and you say, what do I know, or what am I looking for? This is the opposite side, this is the hypotenuse. Opposite hypotenuse, if you recall, that was sine. So for this one, you're going to have to use the sine ratio, the sine trig function. So we're going to say the sine of angle B, remember that's where your angle goes, is equal to the opposite, which is 23, over your hypotenuse. So when I did it in the notes, we only had the variable in the numerator, the number was in the denominator. Remember, you just simply multiply. Well, what happens if the variable is in the denominator? If the variable is on the denominator, then you do the actual opposite of that, you divide. And the way you're going to do that is you're going to divide whatever your numerator is by your trig. So X will be 23 divided by the sine of 34, and that's what you'll actually punch into the calculator. Essentially what you're doing is you're removing the X out of the numerator by multiplying both sides by X and then dividing. It's just algebra, so that's what you're doing. So if, let me just grab my calculator here. So to calculate that, I'm going to take 23 and I'm going to divide that by, now I'm going to use parentheses. Now remember, on my phone I have to hit the number first, so it's going to be 34 sine, and I'm going to close my parentheses, and then I'm going to hit equals, and I get about 41.13. By the way, I had a meeting today with some of my other some of the other math teachers, and one of them gave me a resource of a downloadable TI calculator that you can actually have on your phone or your computer, and so I will share that link with you today, or at least give you a way to download a calculator in case your phone doesn't have this kind of stuff, because you actually need it. I think I had one more problem on this assignment that I wanted to do for you. Oh, yes, number 16, and then I wanted to look at the review as well. So now what we're doing is looking for the angle measure. So remember, in the notes yesterday I said if you're looking for the angle measure, you're using the inverse button. So it says AB is 42, so that's going to be our hypotenuse. We're told AC is 20, that's down here, and we want to find angle A. So that's our question mark right there. So once again, we look at what we know. We know the adjacent and the hypotenuse. The adjacent and the hypotenuse of A. Remember, we always go to the angle we're working with. Adjacent hypotenuse is going to be cosine. So we're going to say the cosine of angle A is equal to the adjacent 20 over the hypotenuse, which is 42. And to punch that in, remember, you're going to do the cosine inverse of 20 over 42. And so remember, to do the cosine inverse, you have to hit second, and that takes you down here. And once again, I'm going to use my parentheses, 20 divided by 42. I'm going to close my parentheses, and then I'm going to hit the cosine inverse of that, and I get about 61.56. I don't know what the directions say if it's nearest tenth. It is nearest tenth, so 61.6 would be angle A. And there you have it. Okay. I know I didn't post the answers to the review, so let's take a look at the review. And if you had additional questions on the homework, we're going to have a Zoom meeting later this week. You can ask me questions. Graph the relation, use the vertical line test to determine if it is a function, and the answer is no. You have a couple here that are vertical, not passing the vertical line test. Then it says use the relation from number 1 to use the horizontal line test to determine if the inverse. Remember, the inverse was taking the points and flipping them. So if you flip the points, 3, -3, 1, 1, 0, -3, 4, 2, 4. Notice that now you do not have repeating x's, so this one, yes, would be a function. Also, if you take a look up here, it would pass the horizontal line test, never would you hit it twice. The last one, the practice ACT, was B. What you had to do, infinite many solutions means that these have to match. So how could I get this to be a 6, this to be a 3, right? Well, the only way to do that would be to multiply that top equation by 3. So if I do that and I write it down below, I get 6x minus 3y equals 3 times 8 is 24. So if they have to match exactly, then what does A have to be to get a 24? The answer would be 6, B. Okay, so that's how that one worked.